Welcome and welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, my name is Juliana. In today's video, I'm finally going to be trying out Adept Cosmetics and Eda Houston palette. Yeah, I think that's how it's pronounced. Apologies if that's not it. This is the inside of the palette and I'm sure you've seen it everywhere. I think it's about a year now it's been released. I finally got this alongside the Plain Jane Remastered palette. I got it as a bundle. So yeah, I'm going to be trying this palette finally today. It's too lovely a palette to create one look, so I'm going to be creating two looks, so one different look on each eye. I'll try and make it kind of coordinating and matching, but that's the plan for today. So now let's get into the two looks. Okay, my plan is to have this quad here on one eye and this quad here on another eye, and possibly use the shades in between on either of the eyes, but that's what I'm going to try today, concentrating on these four colors and these four colors. Yeah, this should be a fairly simple look the way I'm envisioning it, but I'm first going to go with this green in my inner corner, then I'm going to go with the dark green on the outer corner. So something very simple. So the light green first. It's called Mythology. Wow, that's like a grungy green. I wasn't expecting that. I thought it would just be like a bright green. Okay, so just building that shade up around my crease, or towards the front part of my eyes. Really, it almost looks like it's oxidizing. Don't know if you notice. So towards right here by the ridge of my nose is darker than the other part of my eyes. I'm going to take the same shade Mythology and I'm going to pull it right towards the corner of my eyes, so towards the end, and just feathering it out as I get to the end. So literally all over my crease, really, over my eyes, towards the outer corner. Right now, going with the darker green, and it's called Magnolia. I'm going to start. Oh wow, okay, that is really pigmented. I'm going to be putting that all over my lid, everywhere the light green is not on, basically. So two shades, two basic matte shades on my lid. There are only two matte shades in that quad anyway. Okay, changing to a more flexible brush, I'm just going to use that to outline the corner of my eyes so that it doesn't go too much all over the place. So more like drawing a shape. I'm not sure I like where this look is going, if I'm honest. I'm going to bring that green over onto my crease now, like a V shape. So basically just pulling my eyes upwards, and I'm going to start using it to cut my crease. I remember when this palette was launched, I think I barely knew who Eda Houston was. I had to kind of like look her up really to find out who she is. Then when I started seeing the swatches of the palette all over the internet, I knew I had to have the palette. It was just a case of getting it at the right time. Okay, I think I've more or less got the shape, but when I kind of close my eyes, you really can see the green on my crease. So I'm going to pull the green upwards, just so that when I open my eyes, the hood, you can still see it on the hood. So I'm going to try and pull my eyes upwards and then extend that shape upwards. Okay, it's getting there. Yeah, that's so much better. Yeah, you can still see it on the hood of my eye now. Yeah, when it comes to eye look, it just depends on your eye shape and what you are comfortable with. You might not be comfortable with taking your shadows as high up as this, but for me, when I open my eyes, I like to be able to see the shadows as well, regardless of folds or hooded, high or whatever it is. I still want to be able to see my shadows. Yeah, so I like that. Alright, for my lower lid on the side, I'm gonna like do the opposite. So I'm gonna go for this shade. So these two shades will be the one on the upper lid here, and then these two shades will be the one on the lower lid there. So more like opposites to kind of make it, I'm hoping it makes it more eye pleasing, if you like. Okay, so starting with Atlas on the inner part of my lid, of my lower lid, That's quite dark. I will lighten it with a shimmer shade, but it is darker than what I thought it was going to be, which is going to be good when I get to the side, but not so much for the inner part of my lid. And then going with that red shade, PA03 it's called. Okay, I think I'm done with the matte, so let's apply the shimmers and finish this eye minus the eyelashes before we move on to this one. Alright, there are 2 shimmers on this quad, so I don't even know what they are gonna look like on the eye, but this is what the swatch has. So this is kind of true to color, but I think this might be one of those iridescent shades. Anyway, starting with the green, the one that seems to be true to color. Yeah, so that's what that looks like. I'm gonna put that on the outer part of where I've laid the shimmers, so right there. And then going with the other one that looks like the iridescent shade. What does that even look like? I do not know. There's flecks of green in it, but I think it's cream. It's not really white. It's like gold mixed with green. Yeah. I'm gonna need a brush, so I'm gonna grab a brush. So going with the brush for the same shade. I'm using that so that I can get right to the edge of this eye without it getting too messy. I'm gonna try my little finger to see if I can get in closer without making a mess, because I like to press my shimmer down so they don't crack. Yeah, I find pressing my shimmers down on top of the glitter primer I use and wait until it's dry really before I move on. Those help prevent cracks. Going back to the darker green, I'm going to put a little right on the lighter shade just to give it some more dimension. Alright, for the right inner part towards my tear duct, I want a little bit of a different shade in there. It just seems all too slightly too dark for me, so I'm going to try this one. Those shimmer shades are quite hard to pick up, so I've swapped to like one of those old brushes, the foam brushes. Yeah, that's so much better. That's picking it up so much better. I think for this palette I'm going to stick with this brush applicator really. Some of the shimmers are fine, but some of them are just kind of like chunky and they don't pick up on ordinary brushes. So you best use a foam brush or a silicone brush. Yeah, this one is picking up so beautifully. Yeah, I prefer that, so that kind of pops in the inner corner. Okay, I think I am satisfied with that eye, so I'm going to move on to this one now. Alright, so I'm going to do exactly as I did with this eye, so starting with this on my crease and then this on the rest of my lid, and then again swap with this green on my lower lid. So putting Atlas all over my crease. I'm not quite sure what this is. It's like a perfect brown because it's hardly showing up on me. So I want to say it's like a mix between orange and brown, but it's almost like my exact skin tone. Unless the camera is deceiving me, I can't see much of it. I'm going to try and build it up a little bit more. See, one thing about this shade is they are quite buildable. So as I put on the third layer, it kind of like went darker. Alright, going in with the darker shade now, PA02. So I'm going to first of all shape my eyes just so that I can make sure they have the same shape. I mean, I can never get it exactly right, but I'm going to try. So getting the shape right first before I apply the color all over my lid. I think that's as good as I'm going to get it on the corner right now. So I'm going to start shaping my eyes on the crease. So just as I have on the green eye. So laying it on my crease first before I itch it upwards in such a way that when I open my eyes I can see. So at the moment it's just kind of like forming the shape. Now to make sure I can see it when I open my eyes, so I'm going to itch it a little bit upwards towards my brow bone. So again, on my hood, tilt my head upwards. Yeah, and concentrate right where the hood is. Yeah, right here. So now if I open my eyes, you can still see the shadow. Okay, now going back into Atlas. Now that I've got my shape, I'm going to build Atlas in the front part of my lid, so towards my tear duct. Atlas is the light brown. Alright, now that I've gotten the shape right, I'm now going to build up that dark shade all over my lid. Yeah, I have to say these matte shades take a bit of getting used to. They are not as easy to kind of like move around as other mattes I'm used to. This is my first time of using their matte. Well, it's my first time of using their palette at all. Yeah, I don't find them very easy to move around. I mean, the shimmers are lovely, even from the plain jeans and palettes. Really nice, easy to use, but the mattes, I don't know. I'm gonna have to try it another time, but I really didn't enjoy it too much. It was a bit difficult to move around. So I'm gonna do my lower lid now. Again, it's gonna be the greens on the side. So going with Magnolia, I'm gonna put that on the lower part of my lid next to the wine shade. Is it called PaO2? So I think this eye look is gonna end up looking really weird today. I don't know. And then blending it into PaO2, so just blending the two together where they meet. And then going with Mythology in the front part of my lower lid. Okay, that's it for the matte. It's now time for the shimmer. Alright, starting on the lower lid, I'm gonna use this one actually, not this two yet. I'm gonna use this one. I feel like it's gonna match the inner corner better. Yeah, I'm also putting it on the upper part of my lid. Yeah, and I think I like that. I might lay another shade on it, but right now I like how it's looking. Okay, next I'm going into this one and I'm going to put it towards the outer part of my lid. So, like towards the middle really, but yeah, like that. Wow, that is beautiful. I don't actually know what that is. That red? Looks like a reddish brown. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Yeah, I would definitely say reddish brown with hints of green in it. Then using that foamy brush, I'm gonna use that so that I can shape in the top part of my lid without it getting out of hand. Going with that brush I used to apply the matte, I'm gonna blend the edges of the shimmer. I want to fade it into the matte so it doesn't look too disjointed. Yeah, like that. And then tapping down to make sure that it's well blended into the matte. Yeah, I think I like that faded effect. Okay, now for the missing bit here. Alright, for the gap, I'm gonna go with this one, which is called Passport. It looks pink to me, but let's see what it looks like on the eyes. Okay, don't know what I think about that. I'm gonna follow through and see what it looks like. If I don't like it, I'm gonna cover it up. That's a really chunky shimmer. It's not as smooth as the others at all. Yeah, I don't like how that feels. Let me try my fingers and see if it makes a difference. Okay, alright, with the fingers, yeah, slightly better. Yeah, but it's still chunky, so be very careful with this one. and it's got like really bigger flecks of glitter. It's not as smooth as this one at on my main lid. Video Chat, that was called. Yeah, this one is really chunky, but it is beautiful though. Yeah, I like the mix on this high more than the green. I thought I would love the green more than this, but this to me is really nice. It's better than this green. Okay, going with Video Chat, which is the one I have on my main lid. I'm going to use that as an in-betweener between that brown on my lower lid, yeah, and the bright green. Yeah, it looks so much better having an in-betweener shade between the bright one and the matte. Alright, I'm satisfied with both looks, so I'm going to apply my liner both for my waterline, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be using any liner on the outer part of my lid yet, but I'll be right back. Alright, here is the finished look. I don't know what I feel about today's eye look at all, but first of all, let us talk about what I used to finish up my look. For my waterline, I had a bit of identity crisis, so I first went with the yellow. It was too bright. Then I put this, I want to say like a mixture of brown and yellow. Maybe that's what the shade looks like. I've forgotten what the shade is called now, but anyway, it's like a perfect mixture of brown and yellow. Then I finally laid this green on it, limelight, so I more or less have 3 layers of shades on my waterline. Yeah, I think it's getting more and more difficult to pick the choice of my waterline liner, because I'm normally doing 2 different eye looks. So I thought of using 2 different ones today, but it kind of looked odd, so it was difficult to eventually pin down a shade. So I just went with the green eventually. For my lipstick, I've got a mixture of 2 of Plain Makeup by Yolando's lipstick, Money and Cranberry. So this is Money. So Money is like I want to say chocolate brown, and then this is Cranberry. So I first used the Cranberry, but it kind of felt too cranberry to me, so I put a little bit of the chocolate brown Money on top of Cranberry, and I think it was a perfect mixture, because I kind of wanted it to match this eye at least. So, and I feel it's pretty much close. But that's what they look like. They smell so good, and as long as you moisturize your lips well, they glide so beautifully on the lips, and they are not kind of like tight. You know, some liquid matte lipstick will give you like a tight feeling. No, this just kind of lays on whatever it is that you use to moisturize. I normally use a balm. I first of all lay Pomegranate lip balm. That's the only thing I use on my lips, and then I apply the liquid lipstick. I don't normally like liquid lipstick. I prefer the bullet lipstick, but if I'm gonna use a liquid lipstick, I would always have a balm on my lips first, so it makes it, I want to say, almost wearable for me, and I don't feel as if I'm wearing a liquid lipstick. Alright, I don't know if you could see, I felt like it was a bit too far off when I did the swatch of the lipstick, but this is a lipstick up close. So that's the Cranberry and that's Money. But here is a close-up of my eye. Yeah, my lashes was a bit of a struggle today. I don't know what's happening. Oh. But that's the finished look up close. Alright, let's quickly talk about the palette and my experience. This is not a new palette by any means, so I'm sure my review is possibly irrelevant. This is the second Adept palette that I'll be trying. The first one I tried, Plain Jane. It doesn't have any matte, but this does have matte. Now, this matte I found quite different to the matte I'm used to. Not necessarily bad, but I think it's just a case of getting used to it. And now that I know it doesn't really spread easily, I might use a different brush or something, or a different primer. But what I found is it's quite stiff. It doesn't want to kind of like disperse on the lid. It's almost like I had to like keep on stamping it to get the shadow to stick and get the impact of the color. So for this kind of shades, a fluffy brush did not work at all. I had to use a stiffer kind of brush and stamp down. Yeah, that's what I found, which is quite strange, because I'm not sure I've ever had that kind of experience with any shadow, unless they're like pigments. So I have to go on the website and see if they're like pure pigments. I know that pigments don't blend, and you have to kind of like manipulate the way you apply pigments on the lid. So they might be pigments. If they are pigments, then I will understand. But I didn't get that feeling that they were supposed to be pigments. I would have to check the website for that. But yeah, they went very easy to disperse on the lid. So that's what I found today. With the shimmers, they again are different formulas, just like plain Jane. Yeah, but overall I love the color stories and I love the shades of the shimmers in this palette. In fact, the shimmers and the mattes, I love each and every shade that is in this palette. The application, yeah, a different thing, but I'm gonna have to try it again. Now that I know that I don't really disperse easily on the lid, I will definitely be trying with a different set of brushes just to see the effects. And I'm so looking forward and eager to trying the shimmers, the different shimmers on different mattes. I think it'll be really interesting, because today the shimmers I put on the green side, the effect it has when I put them on the, I don't know what to call this. Is this wine? It must be wine. When I put them on the wine, they look different. So I'm looking forward to exploiting the different shades on top of different mattes. Yeah. So that's my take on this palette. I'm gonna give it another go. I still love it. I just have to get used to, you know, using the different formula of matte. I just have to get used to that. It's just gonna need them getting used to. Yeah, because it's quite different. Every formula, every brand is different. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. It just means they need to be used in a different way. Alright guys, that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you've enjoyed the demo of this palette and you've enjoyed hanging out with me. If you have enjoyed this video, please like it, share it and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, I'll see you.